Before we get into the clinical side of betrayal trauma, I want to begin with a story. A man once told me that betrayal didn't hit him like a single moment. It hit him like a collapse. He said it felt like someone pulled the floor out from underneath them, and suddenly nothing made sense. Not his past, not his memories, not his future, and not even himself. He wasn't angry at first, he was numb. He couldn't sleep. Food didn't taste like anything. He'd sit in his car before work and just stare at the steering wheel. His friends told him to shake it off, let her go, but he couldn't because this wasn't heartbreak. This was identity break. This was a wound that lived in his chest, in his nervous system, in his sense of masculinity. But here's the part of the story most people never hear. He didn't stay in that collapse. Little by little, moment by moment, he began rebuilding himself, not back to who he was, but toward who he was becoming. He learned about boundaries. He learned about emotional honesty. He learned to trust his instincts again. He grew more grounded again, more self aware, more connected to his values, more connected to his higher power, a God of his understanding. And eventually he said something that stayed with me. The betrayal didn't destroy me, it revealed me. And I chose who I became next. I've walked with countless men through stories just like this one. And as a man myself, I understand how betrayal trauma settles in the body and it hides behind silence. And it challenges everything you thought you know about yourself. But I also know this: healing is not only possible, it's transformative. So today I want to talk about that journey that no one sees, the part men are rarely invited to speak about, and the part where strength and self-worth are rebuilt from the inside out. If you're a man listening to this right now, I want you to hear me clearly. Your pain is real, your grief is valid, and your healing is absolutely possible. So, if you're wondering who I am, I'm David Martin. I'm a psychotherapist and LMFT here with you all to do another video. And as you could tell, what I'm talking about now is betrayal trauma, continuing my series on betrayal trauma, focusing in on how it impacts men and the uniqueness around it. Not that women do not experience something very similar, but I wanted to focus in on men today. So let's talk about a little bit about what betrayal trauma actually is. So betrayal trauma just isn't heartbreak. It's the collapse of the world you thought you were living in. It's the violent act of someone violating your trust, of whom you depended on emotionally, psychologically, or even spiritually. And when that trust breaks, it disrupts your sense of reality, your sense of safety, your sense of self-worth and identity. Research shows that 30 to 60% of people experiencing partner betrayal develop trauma symptoms of clinical levels, which include anxiety, depression, hypervigilance, disassociation, and emotional numbing. For men, this disruption often goes underground, buried under expectations to be strong, shake it off, or just deal with it. So let's talk about why betrayal hits men differently. Excuse me. Men are socially conditioned from childhood to avoid vulnerability and hide emotional pain. So when betrayal happens, a man may feel shame for being hurt, shame for not seeing it coming, shame for not knowing how to respond, and shame for hurting so deeply. This creates a private emotional collapse that rarely gets support. Men often don't tell their friends, they don't tell their families, because society gives men no script for emotional devastation. And betrayal trauma is uniquely devastating because it touches everything men often tie to their identity, their masculinity, their competence, their trust, their protection, their role as a provider, and feeling good enough. It's not just a relationship that breaks, it's the meaning attached to it. So, what men may experience internally. When I work with men, they describe experiences like chest pressure or tightness, sleepless nights, loss of appetite, emotional numbness, sudden rage or irritability, mental fog, identity confusion. Who am I now? Shame, humiliation, and isolation. Men often feel like they've lost the relationship and themselves. This is where disenfranchised grief comes in. Disenfranchised grief is a grief that society doesn't acknowledge or validate. There's no funeral for broken trust. There's no rituals, no community support. People say things like, well, she didn't die. Oh, you'll be fine. Just move on. But you're grieving a version of the relationship that no longer exists. You're grieving a version of the relationship of the person and what they could have potentially been if they'd have chose to go that route, if they chose to step up, right? And be an adult. You're grieving the man you used to be. You're grieving the safety and identity you once had. This grief is real, my friends, even if others can't see it. So let's talk about the shock phase, right? So in the beginning, men mostly experience things like numbness, confusion, panic, needing answers, feeling like the world has flipped upside down, questioning their own judgment. This phase is normal, especially for men who have never been taught how to move through emotional collapse. So let's talk about recovery, because again, recovery is very possible. Here are the core foundations of healing betrayal trauma for men. One, acknowledge the impact without shame. Pain doesn't make you weak, honesty does. Establish boundaries, including no contact if needed. These boundaries create emotional safety and clarity. No contact, limited communication, clear co parenting structure if there's children involved. Rules for conversations, space for healing. Boundaries are not punishment, they are protection. And I'm a firm believer in rejection is God's protection. Number three, rebuild self trust. Betrayal often makes men doubt their instincts. Healing begins when you listen to your internal compass again, your intuition. Number four, reclaim your identity. You are more than this wound. Reconnect with your values, your purpose, your passions, your strengths. Five, redefine your strength. Strength is not emotional suffocation. Strength is integration. And six, seek support. Therapy, trusted friends, men's groups. Go to church. Do not suffer in silence. Healing accelerates when you're not alone. So if you're a man going through betrayal trauma, you are not weak. You are not weak. You are human. And you deserve the same emotional support, compassion, and healing as anyone else. So I want to thank you for being here today. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with a man or someone else who may benefit from it or who may be carrying this on silently. So I'm considering making more videos around this specific video with men in betrayal trauma. For instance, the shock phase, boundaries, masculinity and emotional recovery, rebuilding self-worth, and how men learn to trust again. And that is not just that list, but can be opened up to other topics if you all are interested. Uh, but if you're interested in that, leave a comment below, or you can reach out to me via my other contact information, which is in the description bar below, my website, Instagram. So which of these topics would you like next? Comment below and let me know, or reach out, like I said. So I do want to thank you all for being here today. And please do share this video with someone else. And I hope this does help the people that may need to hear it. And please do share it with others. So again, this is David Martin, psychotherapist and LMFT with Illuminated Pathways. And I'm signing off, and I'll see you all on the next video.